Is the governor of the great state of Wisconsin, Scott Walker. Governor, good morning to you.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
It's great to have you as well. As long as I can remember, the number 180 days has always been in my head. You have to be in school, in a classroom, 180 days for that year to count toward your ultimate graduation. Why do you want to change that?
Well, to me, I trust parents, and I want to make sure that parents and local school boards and teachers are the ones making those decisions about what gets to student success, what's a good education, not a bunch of bureaucrats in state capitals or in our nation's capital. And so we've already changed the 180 days. Now we're changing the amount of hours, not because I want less instruction, but because I want it to be good instruction. And I think the best way to account for that is give parents all the information. We've got a transparent report card. We can see what's happening in every school and every district across the state of Wisconsin. And I think that's the best measure of accountability, to see, are the kids actually learning things? You know, the amount of hours your kids sit in the classroom, or as I say, butts in the seats, isn't necessarily a good indicator as to whether they're getting a good education. It's the quality education and whether or not the students are learning, and that shows up in the report cards.
Absolutely. But what about if you have the state or the local folks figure out, you know, what the correct metric is, the number of hours that a kid should be in a classroom? For instance, in kindergarten, you're suggesting the current state minimum time, 437 hours. For elementary school, it's more than double that. In secondary school, it's higher than that. But what if at the local level, let's say you're not flush with cash and you're trying to save money, and you say, you know, maybe we should cut back even more. You always have to worry whether or not the budget then dictates what the kids are learning.
Except in the end, people are ultimately accountable to the voters in their community. They're ultimately accountable to the parents of their school district. And they could do the same thing right now. That's a critique we've heard in the past. Somebody could say, well, you know, we're not going to hire the best teachers if we don't have a good budget. The budget I propose when we make this change puts the most money in the K through 12 education ever before. But because of our Act 10 reforms, you remember those from years ago, they got quite a bit of attention with protesters coming in from across the country. A lot of big government union bosses, by the way, who didn't like the idea that we took power out of the hands of their interest and put it back in the hands of the hardworking taxpayers, and in this case, not only the taxpayers, but the parents, to say, this is how we're going to hold our school districts accountable. It's not the amount of hours, it's not the number of days, it's what they're actually learning that matters. And you can have them spend twice as long in school, but if they're getting a lousy education, that's not going to lead to student success. It's the quality of education that we should be focusing on. And if one school district can do it in less time, so be it, but another may take extra time. I'm fine with that. Let the local school district decide.
I can't tell you how many times my kids came home from school and they said, well, because it's 2 days till a holiday, we just watched a movie or something like that. But in the state of Wisconsin, you don't really have to worry about a money problem, because once again, you've got a big surplus there, don't you?
We do indeed. Every year I've been in office, you had a surplus. We just finished the latest fiscal year with $331 million cash balance. We'll have another one projected to be about $453 million. We're one of 3 pension systems fully funded. We've got the 4th lowest outstanding long-term debt, and that's why we're able to put more into K through 12 education than ever before, and still reduce taxes. In fact, the cumulative benefit of our tax relief over 8 years will exceed $8 billion. Wow. That shows if you put in place common sense conservative reforms, they actually work.
There you go. All right. Governor Scott Walker, keep us posted on how this goes out there with your school.